there's a lot more opportunities and people willing to pay you better wages.
A recovery which appears to be accelerating.
I do feel better off, definitely.
You've got to look around, there's a lot more opportunities and people willing to pay you better wages to do pretty much the same job.
High levels of employment in sectors like construction and hotels and restaurants means that firms are having to compete for workers and pay them more, the highest for a decade.
Wages rose this summer at their fastest rate for almost a decade, and unemployment fell to its lowest level since the mid-1970s. That was what was happening in the UK's jobs market between June and August of this year. Our economics editor Kamal Ahmed has been looking at the figures and working out what it means for us all. Kamal.
Thanks very much, Sophie. Now, wage growth matters. If you are in work and your pay is going up, it makes you feel more confident about the economy. And if we feel more confident, we tend to spend more. Our spending drives 60% of the economy. And in Cardiff today, there was a more positive mood, for some at least.
Where I was, the pay rise wasn't possible. It was never going to happen, so you've got to look around. There's a lot more opportunities and people willing to pay you better wages to do pretty much the same job.
The price of living is going up very fast and my wages aren't keeping up.
I do feel better off, definitely, but because our wage was quite low before, kind of just brings you up to where everyone else is, I think.
Well, the story of our wages has been the story of our economy since the financial crisis. In 2008, before the crash, wages were growing at above 4%. Then there was this long dip to below 1% as the recession and fears over job losses hit hard. And now a recovery, which appears to be accelerating to 3.1%. High levels of employment in sectors like construction and hotels and restaurants means that firms are having to compete for workers and pay them more, the highest for a decade. Now, it is not all good news. Prices have also gone up, often faster than what we earn, which means that average wages are still £20 per week less than 10 years ago. So what do today's better figures mean for this man, Philip Hammond, the Chancellor, who has a budget in 2 weeks? Well, better economic news will help, but there are still major challenges.
I think it's almost inconceivable that we won't have tax rises over the next 5 to 10 years at least. The scale of cuts we've seen in public services have been really quite dramatic. More money for the National Health Service, the population is ageing, and there's lots more demands for other things too. That's not going to be payable for in the long run just by borrowing more.
Well, some of those tax rises may come in the budget, but with that Brexit uncertainty we've been hearing about, it's still dominating. Mr. Hammond may hold off until our relationship with the rest of the European Union is clearer, and that could be some way off.